Are you doing visualization all wrong? If you're doing visualization like I did visualization when I first started out, and just paid attention to what the big picture was, what the end result was that I was looking for. If that's how you visualized, then I'd stick around for this 6-step process that I'm going to share with you. Visualization is just mental practice. That's how I want to define it, and I want you to look through that filter. When people say visualization, they make it like complicated, right? Like it's just mental practice. You're getting reps in. I always talk about first taking action, 2 consistent action, and that consistent action is about getting reps in. And the more reps you get in, the better you become at something. Visualization allows you to get additional reps in. When you can't be in the gym physically throwing the basketball, when you can't be on the boat physically casting the line, when you can't be in the boardroom physically conducting the meeting, it allows you to get those reps in so that you become familiar and comfortable with the process. All the greats do visualization, right? Kobe Bryant does it, Jordan does it, Phelps, Oprah. They all have visualized what success was for them. They all visualized, in Jordan and Kobe's case, right? They visualized the actual basketball like rolling off their fingers. We're going to get into specifics in a little bit in that 6-step process. Things that they did, things that you should be doing, things that I wasn't doing and now do, right? So UCLA actually has research out there that shows that your brain, when you visualize something, taking that action of taking that basketball shot, let's say, when you're visualizing that and you're feeling that and you have all the inputs to that, the same region in your brain fires when you're visualizing as if you were actually taking the shot in the gym on the basketball court. So your brain doesn't differentiate between the two. The trick is, and what we're going to discuss in a little bit, the trick is getting your brain to actually buy into that, right? We're going to talk about that. Visualization. Your mind wants to take the action. Visualization trains your mind to take that action. Your mind wants to take the action. Your subconscious stops you because your subconscious wants to keep you safe. But visualization trains your mind to take that action. As you see and feel the actions, right? The baseball player, let's say you were playing baseball. I know I keep jumping around here, but when you're playing baseball, I used to play baseball, and I used to pick up a little bit of dirt, rub it between my hands to dry my hands off so that I can get a good grip on the baseball bat. When you're visualizing that, I want you to actually feel that dirt on your hands. You need to feel that dirt. I want you to feel the little dimples. They're not dimples, but they're raised dimples, right? I don't even know what they call them. But the rubber on that basketball, the laces on the football, I want you to visually, in your mind when you visualize it, I want you to feel all of this stuff. What you're doing as you're visualizing, right, is you're walking yourself through the steps of the action you want to take. You're starting to tap into your procedural memory. Procedural memories your procedural memory is the memory that shows you how to do something, right? So typically you can use procedural memory in both macro movements like throwing a ball, walking, shooting a basketball, talking, writing, things like that. You can also use them in more of those procedural things like playing a board game. That's procedural memory. But when you start feeling the texture of the ball, when you start feeling the grit of the dirt, the sand getting in your shoes when you come out of the water, you're running a triathlon, right? You're doing a triathlon. You come out of the water, you run across the sand up to the bikes, like the sand gets in your feet, feeling that visceral effect. Roger Bannister broke the 5-minute mile, right? He was the first person to break the 4-minute mile. He broke through it, and he said he did it by visualizing him actually running and what it would feel like. Pele, one of the greatest soccer players in the world, right? Like, maybe the best soccer player ever. He's up there with like Jordan and Kobe and Babe Ruth and Lou DiMaggio. But Pele would say he would rewatch his games and the celebrations and his goals, and he would really take all of that in and feel that in his bones, so that he could relive those moments. Because in reliving those moments, he made it visceral. He brought it into his soul, and he could feel it, smell it, and taste it. Now, let's talk about. We talked about connections. We talked about why visualization is important. Let's talk about the actual process, the 6-step process that I promised you guys. Those 6 steps: breathing, immersion, emotion, fine-tuning, bringing all your senses into it, and actually believing you can do it. Let's break those 6 down. The first, breathing. So when you start your visualization session, sorry, something out the window. When you start your visualization session, I want you to sit or lie somewhere, kind of like meditation, right? Like, we're going to sit somewhere quiet, peaceful. We're going to start with breathing. Breathing is a great way of regulating the body. I like, whenever I start, I do Huberman's physiological sigh. So you breathe in, it's a double breath in and a long breath out. I'll do 3 or 4 of those. 4 is usually my number. And then I'll do a couple of deep breaths with slow, letting that breath out, slow escalations. And in doing that, my body now becomes calm. Right? I'm starting to get into that relaxation state. Then I start seeing whatever that is that I want to visualize. I start seeing myself hitting that free throw. I start seeing myself hitting those 3-pointers. I start seeing myself speaking on stage. I start seeing myself walking into the boss's office and asking for that raise. I start seeing myself being a little more assertive in the office so that I'm not walked all over. Whatever it is that you're looking to do, whatever your goal is, whatever your intention is, whatever you aspire to be, I want you to start thinking about that. I want you to start thinking about it on a macro level. So what I mean by that is just the big points of it. If we're asking for a raise, I want you to see yourself going into work, and you're going to ask the boss for a meeting. You're going to walk through the office door. You're going to sit down at the desk. You're going to have a conversation with the boss, and that kind of conversation is going to lead to a raise. That's what I want you to see. Then I want you to start bringing emotion into that. Now, each step, I get to the office door. I walk into work. I'm excited. I'm excited to be at work. I'm excited because today is going to be a great day. I'm getting a raise. I'm excited to be there. The raise is already mine. I've already earned the raise by the performance that I've had. We just now have to sign off on it. It's a given. So now I'm going to walk into the office. Like, I'm walking through the door. I'm feeling really excited. I have a smile on my face. I feel happy and joyful. I sit down. I have the conversation. The boss says, excellent, I can do this for you. I can't give you a raise right now, but I can, if you can wait a month, I can promote you. Joe's leaving. I was thinking about putting you in Joe's spot. Whatever the end result is, right? Whatever the end result is that you're looking for, you're going to start feeling that. Then you're going to start fine-tuning it. Fine-tuning it means that I can actually see the crease on the boss's shirt. I can actually smell the coffee, the fresh brewed coffee, and coming from the coffee cup. I can feel the carpet crunch under my feet as I'm walking across it. I can smell the freshly painted trim on the office door. I want you to start getting really granular in the feeling that you're bringing into this. I can feel the stiffness or the softness of the chair as I sit down. The rough plastic arms or the soft leather, whatever it may be. I want you to really get fine-tuned into it. If you're doing a free throw shot, I want you to physically feel the rubber on your hands. I want you to feel the sweat dripping down your face. I want you to really get fine-tuned into this. The more fine-tuned you get into it, the more emotion you bring to it, the more comfortable your mind starts becoming with it, the more those pathways, those neurons send the signal to the synapse. This one fires, says hello to this one says hello to the next one. The more emotion you bring, the stronger those connections become. The neural pathways are formed because of those neurons and those synapses firing. The synapse fires, it fires to this guy over here. That happens once. It's not very strong. As you do more visualization, as you do more practice, if you can actually practice in the basketball scenario, if you could practice on the court throwing free shots, and then you can visualize at home or visualize while you're traveling to and from the court, the more reps you get in, when you're asking for that pay raise, you can only do visualization, right? You can't go in and get reps. So you have to kind of make this custom to you. But the more fine-tuned you can get into the emotion of how it's going to make you feel, the better it is for you. Bringing all the senses into it, right? Step 5 is bringing all the senses into it. The smells, the textures, the auditory stimuli that's around. Everything. You're bringing all of that in. And then the last step, we touched upon it earlier when I said you're going to walk into the office like it's already a done deal. You're not going to be smug about it, but in your body language, you're going to be like, yeah, no, I've already done the work. I've performed. This is just a given, right? When I walk onto the court, it's just a given that I'm going to hit these shots. You have to have that confidence. That confidence is in part brought up through visualization because your body becomes comfortable. Your mind becomes comfortable. You're actually sneaking one past the goalie. I've spoken about that plenty of times. You're training your subconscious that this is what you expect. And if this is what you expect, if you're actually going into it believing full-heartedly that this is going to happen, that's 90% of the process right there. So going through this cycle, getting those reps in, actually feeling it. When I was first doing it, I didn't feel it. There was no real emotion there. Every once in a while, my emotion would spike a little bit, but there was no real emotion there. And then when I learned to bring emotion to it, then when I learned to get really fine-tuned, things completely changed. When I went to the fire department, this is a great example. When I went to the fire department, I was in the police department. I wanted to go to the fire department. I didn't know about visualization back then. Like, yeah, in my mind, I thought about how cool it would be to. I used to visualize me walking in with my little tool bag and my gear bag, and I'd walk in, and they called the place the Rock. That was the name of it. At the Rock, they just had a big metal security fence with a guard shack, and I would imagine myself walking in and like smiling, like this is my first day, like wow, I made it. I was visualizing that, but I wasn't doing a visualization exercise. Like it wasn't intentional. But when I looked back, when I started learning about visualization, I looked back on it. I'm like, wow, like that's what I was doing. That emotion, and it was just a little bit of emotion, but that emotion I was bringing in really like set into me. What visualization does is it prepares your mind for doing the action, and then you're more prone to actually do the action. So you're prepping yourself to do the action, you're getting comfortable with doing the action, and then you actually go out and you do the action. And as you build those actions up, you start becoming the person that accomplishes that. You start becoming that person that hits that free throw shot. We visualize. I want you to think back over your life. We visualize so many times. I have a quote here. Hold on a second. I got a quote here from Hill. Where did I write? I threw the quote. Did I throw the quote out? I threw the quote out. Okay, I'm going to pause this and come right back. All right, guys, this is the real deal. The other day I was doing a recording, and my son was off in the woods fishing, and he has to tell me when he goes into the woods, when he comes out of the woods, and my phone went off. Like, he was sending me a tap. Like, this is real life. This is what life looks like. So, when I was looking the UCLA study up, and I found a quote from Napoleon Hill, and it says, if you spent as much time visualizing success as you spent thinking about failure, you would change your life. We all visualize, and predominantly we're visualizing the negative. I'm no good at that. It's all that negative self-talk. I'm no good at that. I tried that. It didn't work. This isn't going to work. This is... I tried swinging a hammer and I hit my thumb. And you relive that. And you can feel your thumb throbbing. It's 3 years later, but you can still feel your thumb throbbing. We are constantly visualizing stuff. Constantly. Let's direct our visualization to visualization that's actually going to help us. That's actually going to calm that subconscious down and sneak one past the goalie. We all have the power of visualization, and we all do it on a regular basis. Let's start doing it in a way that's going to help us, in a way that's going to propel us forward, so that we can crush life. Guys, I love spending time with you. We live up here in the numerator, not down here in the denominator. Go out there and be unstoppable! And absolutely crush your day. Love spending time with you guys. Have a great one.